Hello, welcome to Dear Arnel Week 5 video blog. It's a video blog of what typically I do in my business and how I help people. And so it's about letting people know about me, what's new, share my life experiences, personal and professional, over the last 25 years, share some tips and resources and recommendations to help next business owner succeed in life. And the bottom line, I want to be the go-to guy for business networking referrals. And people ask why for business network, because I do business network. I mean, I was very successful in coaching people how to do networking. My former life career experience with BNI. Now I work as a business coach. I focus mostly on successors of family-owned business who want to overcome imposter syndrome to really grow, scale their business. And it's really around high growth family-owned business. Some of my best clients are the ones who want to grow 25% or more revenue every year. So let me tell a little bit about myself. I don't know if people know, I was a 8404 medic corpsman. I was in the reserve for 10 years, weekend warrior. I went into the reserves after high school. I was delayed entry program. Went in for boot camp, then went through field medical school in Camp Lejeune. That was a whole experience. I mean, I just wanted to work the weekends in a hospital or clinic. Ended up getting signed at 8404 medic, and I did 10 years. Went to Desert Storm for about 9 months. My weekend duties were what they call 5 drill weekends, where you get in on Friday, and you get in Friday around 3 or 4, you get home about 6 or 7. If we died there 2 weeks, we always did it in the desert. I remember we did in the desert 2 or 3 times, did in the forest, did on a ship, anywhere and everywhere with Marines. Very rare would I go into a hospital or a clinic. It was always with Marines. And so loved those guys, had a great experience with them. Did 10 years. Everyone passed that. And somebody asked me, hey, Arnel, why do you do 10 more? Well, I got married, and I remember my wife was saying, well, I usually don't want to marry married a military man. So I got the hint and didn't sign up. Oh, but I tell you that experience of being a field medic corps 8404 and really serving a country and being Marines was amazing. I mean, did Desert Storm for 9 months, and that's experience when you're riding on an Amtrak in the middle of the in Desert Storm in Kuwait and Iraq, and you're just seeing the stars, or you're driving oil fields where they're seeing smoke. We used to call black rain and soot on our clothes and stuff like that. It was interesting. Great experience. I learned a lot about being with men, serving them, helping them, carrying a 9mm, always having my field medic bag. It was experience. So the goal and objective is just to let you know who I am and what I do. So that's a little bit about me. Question 2, when I work with business owners, the biggest challenge is what I call the spoken art of communication. What the challenge is they're not always good at communicating to employees, partners, and people in their business. And their blind spot, I think, and I even noticed this for myself, their blind spot is most people want to be communicated in the way that they receive the message. But when most people communicate, they communicate in where they want to receive the message versus helping the other person receive the message. So the biggest challenge, I think, in when you're leading people is how do you win and how do you lose and how do you gain clarity? So there was, in the One Thing community that I'm part of, they have this documentation called Honest Expectation. So I took that, I'm going to bring it up right now. I took this honest, it's called Honest Expectation, Honest Expectation, and improved it a little bit. It says improving communication and building trust. So what I recommend the owners to do and the key leadership is to fill this out, because look, it's very hard to communicate. It's a lot harder to communicate when you don't even know that you're not communicating well. And the idea is to really have people fill this out. So I call it like the cheat sheet in communication, because the best way to communicate is deliver the message so the messenger can understand, hear, and listen on what you're communicating with. And communication is really more about influencing, not just informing. So you have this documentation. It's called honest expectations, improving communication, building trust. So you put your name here on a scale of 1 to 10. How do I win with, how do I win with me? So it tells you specifically how do you win with that person. Like somebody goes, be on time, ask a lot of questions, smile. Then here's another one is, how do I lose with me? So you're really telling people how do they win with you? So you write down the five important things. How do you lose? And it'd be amazing when you write this stuff down. The beauty of this is that you can, like one of the things I'm going to do this year is I'm going to have a lot of my clients refill this out. And when I actually talk to them, right, when I have my coaching call, I have a conversation, I will study this, right? Or I'll even have it if I'm on the phone or with me, I'll pull it up beforehand and study it and have in my mind visually how I'm going to communicate the message. And how do I win? Because think about it. If you can win every time with that person because you really know how to win, that's a competitive advantage. But if you are just losing all the time, that causes anxiety, frustration, um, you know, anxiety. As people get anxious, they get frustrated, get very discouraged, they get very depressed because they feel that the person they're working with, who's supposed to be the leader or even the manager, doesn't understand me. So this is a way of how. And then I had another one. What are the best ways to approach you when I'm seeking clarity, understanding? Because here's the thing about is people. The secret of people is communicating. So if there is some type of, I call it, you're seeking clarity or understanding. How do I, that was it? What's that famous quote that um, something about you have to understand before you can say. So one of the best approaches to people when you're seeking clarity is they'll tell you. So what I recommend, you have people fill this out because at the end of the day, what's really, really important is that you want to let them tell you how to win, let them tell you how you can lose, and then let them tell you what's the best way to approach you with clarity. It's the beauty of this, if you study this, right, of this, have them fill it out, right? Like if I was an owner, I would fill this out for myself. How would they win? How would they lose me? And how they clarity? Then I'd ask my key employee or employee who I work with, would you fill this out, right? So that when I'm meeting with them, I'm interacting with them, I am studying how to win, be aware how to lose, and be aware and take action and how to approach. Because if you do these things, you increase your chance of influencing the person. I very rare do I find people who are very good at reading people. Even if they read them well, it doesn't mean they always can communicate well. What this does, this gives you you and the other party ways to communicate how to win, how to lose, how to ask for clarity, and understanding what's the best approach. And number two, how to also have them do it for you. So you explain what I need, you ask them what they need, win, lose, gain clarity, what's the best approach, and then you just study it. And because it is so hard to communicate to people when we don't even realize we're just communicating the way we want it to be said versus we need to communicate where it wins with the person, right? We're not losing with the person. And the most important thing, our approach is solid when we're seeking clarity and understanding, because you have to understand and get clarity where people are coming from, because if not, you again lose that credibility, you lose that influence. And what I find out, that quiet quitting or the terms, they're not really fully engaged because they don't think you care, they don't think you understand, and you're not winning with them. So going back to this, how do you resolve it? I recommend my clients to have, people fill this out. The owners hand it out to their key staff, and the key staff hands the owner. And when they're doing the evaluation, that will help. So we'll go into developing referrals. And I was working with a business owner with developing referrals after attending a networking event, and said, well, what's the challenge? Well, what do I do after a networking event? So, and so What usually people do is they don't know what to do. So if it isn't a sign of generating business with each other, typically what they do, they just don't follow up. The blind spot is remember, one of the things I learned working with with Maps Business Coaching and Keller Williams and real estate agents when I used to coach them, and they're very good at building a database and email list. What they would do is the blind spot. Most owners who are not in the real estate industry, mortgage, they don't know how to build a database or know how to build an email list. Their email list or database is their contact list on their Rolodex, or the people who bought services for them that is on their QuickBooks. I mean, they don't develop a list. They don't mind it. They don't develop it. That's a blind spot. And then if they even go to a networking event, they don't know how to cultivate that list. So one of the things that I'm working on, because I'm not a real estate agent, is creating what they call the 8x8 program. So in real estate, if you ever read the Million Dollar Real Estate Agent, it talks about the 8x8 33 touch. That's the magic. So I believe that doesn't matter if you're a real estate or mortgage person, anybody in the real estate sphere, you can take this information that the Million Dollar Real Estate Agent book called MREA created, this 8x8 touch, because this is a process that you can create to do the follow-up. So they say here, week 1, send a drop of handwritten note. Week 2, contact Angela, a phone call. Week 3, item, contact. And then eventually what happens, if you notice that you have 8 weeks of engaging that person can drop in to your newsletter, because literally what has you done is you have a follow-up. Now, the interesting thing about this, as a business owner who's not in the real estate and mortgage, you can create your own 8x8 program. Now, what I usually suggest is, and I learned this from Michael Mayer, so you want to meet with the person on Google Meet, on face-to-face, and you have a series of questions to ask them. How can I help? And then you can either, during this process, ask them, hey, do you know anybody who needs my help? Or do you know anybody who needs, who could use my service? So if you look at this, you're bringing value with an understanding that you're looking. And here's what I look for. I bring value, put them into my, my CRM, my community. And then out of that, you'll find if you're bringing value, people who see the value will go, oh my God, how can I help you? And sometimes when you bring value, people automatically give you a referral, or they give you a referral, it becomes a big client, or they give you, one or two that doesn't become a client, but it shows that they're willing to learn how to help you. So when you're going to networking events, you really have to create some type of 8x8 program, because once you do the 8x8 program and that person is receiving your, I call it your engagements, your email, your follow up, and they're interested, then you can drop them into your email list. Like I have an email list I send once a month, or you can drop them into what we call the top yap, or the, I call the top yap. Those are raving fans or advocates who your number one is the business of choice. And then you're cultivating them through a series of engagements, either inviting them to events, one-to-ones, where you're not only the person of choice, but they're willing to help you, and then you're just communicating throughout the year. Other people, you even do by 8x8, they don't show any interest. They're not really as interested in much, and you may just contact them, like they said here, 33 touch, because what 8x8 is, every week, then you do 33 touch. Now, the interesting thing is, what I've seen is the people who are very successful are very consistent in their touch. Now, the 8x8 is really, in my opinion, is developing that person into a referral source, an advocate, or a raving fan. A referral source may be somebody you just cultivate. You may not, they may like you, they may value, they may or may not consider you as the expert, but just because they like you and you're pretty consistent, or you helped in the past, they may just give you a referral by luck. An advocate is somebody who I believe is somebody who's committed to your business, who's willing to look for opportunities, but that happens when it falls in your lap, or you brainstorm with them, they help you. Now, a raving fan is somebody who is committed to you, who's looking for referrals, introductions for you. You're helping them as much as they're helping you, and they're proactively. Like I have one raving fan who literally puts me in front of people all the time, like boom, 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 boom. But she is a unique individual. She's a connector. She's a high I. She's a business development person for environmental consulting company. She is like phenomenally in front of people. People, bum, 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 bum. But I've worked. She's become a client, and we've helped each other back and forth. It really does work out really well. So this 8x8 really helps you develop people into, a raving fan, which is a person who goes out of the way, loyal to you, promotes you every time. They're just talk about you, sing your praises all the time. An advocate is somebody they're loyal to. When people ask, they say, yeah, that person's great, but they don't always proactively look for you unless you ask them to and they're committed to it, or they fall in your lap. And a referral source is you're cultivating the relationship, you're sending them emails, you invite them stuff, and poof, they give you a referral by accident. Or if they come to your own events, they fill out a door prize entry form and it says it has a referral, and they go, hey, look, I have somebody I want to introduce you to. You're like, great, and they give you a referral. But the whole idea is you're communicating in the 8x8, you're figuring out who wants to be communicated, who wants to be influenced, right? And who ongoingly wants your contact information. The beauty of what MREA, written by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, the beauty of this is that they study very successful real estate teams on how they cultivated a big database. So you can take this information and cultivate. I'm currently right now working on creating my 8x8 program based on my business as a business coach. What value can I bring? How do I contact them? So I have a CRM that actually can send out emails and that. So I'm just this week really focusing on and having a 8x8 program that I'm using, and then going forward, I'm going to use that for my business. Then if any of my clients want that. So that's how I believe you should follow up and develop referrals, because in the 8x8 program, you can educate people on what you do, how you serve them, and ask them, hey, would you be willing to cultivate? Because what you're doing in the 8x8 program, you're bringing value. You're figuring out how to help them. All right, question number 4. There's a really good excellent resource called Learning the Art of Spoken Communication, exactly what to say, your guide to the mastery of magic words, by paperback by Phil Jones. So I was listening to a podcast called The $1 Million Real Estate Agent, and Phil Jones was on this podcast, I think with Jason Abrams. Phenomenal podcast. I was blown away. And when I go walking, after I do my 12-minute PQ moving app, gym, I actually pull out this Phil Jones and I listen to it over and over again. It's a great book because what it does, it's exactly what to say, your guide to the master of magic words. So he's saying knowing exactly what to say when you don't know what to say. So the powerful thing about this, and I realize this because my mindset's better through positive intelligence, is that when somebody wants to do business coaching, there's two conversations you have to have. Number one, are they willing, first of all, help them identify the challenge, and are they willing to spend the time, money, and resources to resolve that challenge? Now, with Google, the internet, you can find information for yourself, and you don't need a coach. You can talk to your friends, mentors, all that. You don't need a coach. What I find out is that when I was listening to this podcast with Phil Jones and Jason Abrams, and I listened to the book, and I realized that, and I did some research, that I was missing I call it the moments in my business, especially around the sales process. And he said this: the first conversation you have is, do they want to do the thing before they want to do the thing with you? I was like, what does that mean? Do they want to do the thing? Like in this case, do they want to pay time and money to resolve this challenge that they can't get the answer through Google? They can't get the answer through their mentors. They can't get their answers from their spouse or their peer group. They know the challenge, right? And they're willing to spend time. They're willing to invest time, money, and resources to work through the challenge. So the first conversation, and I redid my process, is first find out, what is the challenge? What have they done to this point, right? Have they ever worked with a coach, right? And are they willing to spend time and money and resources to resolve this challenge? And this is just one challenge in the multiple challenges you'll receive when you want to grow up to the next level. Every level you go, there's always challenges. So the question is whatever the challenge is, right? And if we can help you get into the challenge, why don't you go to the internet? Why don't you go ask a friend, this and that? Or is it time for you to invest time, money, and resources to resolve this challenge, right? They say yes, right? And now I ask them, okay, good. Have you ever worked with a coach? Bad, good, and different. Do you know what the difference? Okay, great. They don't. Okay, here's the difference with the coaching. And when the difference is now the next conversation, let's decide if the way I do coaching, what my experience and what my knowledge and years have done it, is this the right resource for you to invest time, money, and resources? If this is the right, if this is the right solution, which is working with me, is that what you want? Is that what you need? Is that what you want to help you solve not only this challenge, but multiple challenges along the way? Because sometimes a challenge can be resolved as quickly as come with a plan, run the plan for 3 months. But then it could be a challenge, it could be one challenge that has like 10 different challenges, might have to take a year. And then that's just hitting a certain goal. And there's always other challenges when you have other goals. Life is always full of challenges. The question is, do you want to do it by yourself? Or you do it with other people? But the beauty about this resource that I love about Phil Jones is that if you can understand the moments on how the sales process is and how I work with clients, then you can craft the conversations with them so that you literally have the magic words or the magic moments so that your relationship then will become better. And for a fact that they want to be fully engaged because you set up the expectation. So what I realized with this, is that for me, and I like a lot of clients, for the first question is, number one is, do they want to spend time, money, and resources to fix this problem? What have they tried up to this point? Is the problem really the problem? And they want to spend time, money, and resource. And then that's great. Then number two is that they want to spend time, money, invest time, money, resources with my company. And here's the problems and challenges I solve. Here's my irresistible offer. Here's what I offer. Here's what I do. And, that's where you actually, I spend a little bit more explaining what, asking questions. What have they done before? Here's what we uniquely different, what we do. So what I realize is this resource is pretty powerful because I find a lot of clients I'm coaching with, especially who are under the couple of 100,000 revenue, or somebody will ask me, hey, I'm not closing this deal. And I said, well, did you have a first meeting to figure out, do they really want to, what's the problem? And they really want to invest time and money and research to solve it. You go, no, I don't have to do that. I don't want to. What? Because they want me. No, well, did you validate and confirm that they did have a problem, and were they willing to spend time, money, and resources? If they are, the next step is, okay, number two, let's figure out if I'm the right resource for you. If am I the right solution that you're willing to invest time, money, and resources for? Am I the right solution? And as much as you're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you. So it's a different posture because you don't have to take anybody and everyone, but you need to first find out, do they want to solve the problem, right? And they want to put time, money, and resources. And number two, number one, they're looking for the solution. And number two is, are you the solution? So the beauty of this book is, you look at here, it's on Amazon. You can get it if you listen to Audible. It's really good. It's the magic of words. So see, it says, often decision be the customer choosing you over somebody's ability to know exactly what to say, when to say, and how to make it count. So he's very good at that. And I've realized is that if you can study the moments, and I believe I lost sales because I need to have a 2-step process to qualify. First process, again, identify the problem. What have they done up to the point? And then are they willing to invest time, money, and resources? If they are, great. If they aren't, I let them go. And if they are, I ask them, and the next step is to see if my company and the coach, could be me or someone else, is the right solution for you to help you accomplish not only that challenge, but any challenges we're seeing in the future, right? And that's the beauty of it. And then how you apply it. Like, say you're having a conversation with your employee about giving feedback. So what are the moments, right? What are the moments that you have to be able to be very good at communicating? So you really start thinking through how to influence people, make an impact. So I would recommend this book. You can get the book audio here on Amazon. Phenomenal resource. So the quote of the number 5 is, just out of curiosity, what is stopping you from moving forward right now? This is by Phil Jones. So, think about it. What's stopping you from moving right now? I mean, if you really take a step back, look at it, on the front line, 10,000 feet, 30,000 feet, what's stopping you? And the amazing thing about this vlog, have you noticed, it's all about communication? Because if you're a business owner, if you're over $1 million in revenue, your secret of success is how do you communicate and influence, inspire, and create impact for your people, especially your key leaders. So I find out very few people use this, right? Like when I send it out to my new clients now going forward, I have them fill this out. My new existing clients going to have this fill this out, because I really want to make sure I'm on point in communication. Because it's easier to keep people once you have them. It's harder to replace them. And then the other key thing is follow up on referrals. I see so many people going to a networking event. There's no follow up, and they're not developed into a process. And I think this 8x8 that I showed you is powerful. Now you just have to create your own. And I actually teach a class on how to create your own. It's interesting. Most people don't create their own. They go to a network event, meet somebody, and they don't continue with the process. I like this, and I'm creating my own. And I have a CRM that can remind me of the activities I do, and that's what I'm focusing creating. And then, and that resource with Phil Jones, man, that's a great book. Great book. The magic of, I think a lot of people in business right now don't know their moments, in the conversation with people, the magical moments. And if you know the magic words for influence and impact, like he said, and exactly know what to say, that's what you want to do. Is you're studying, they used to tell me, is visualize how you would see things happen in the conversation. So after you've been doing it for a while, you should visualize and review what didn't work for you. And a lot of times I looked at the last 3 months because I was missing that one step, was first find out they have a challenge that they want to spend. First, what is the challenge? And they want to spend time, money, and resources, to get it resolved or work through it. And I find out a lot of people like the idea, but they don't. And I'm only looking for the people who will invest time, money, and resources to work on that. And that's why he has a great book on this. And I just love his quote, what's stopping me right now. So if you have any questions, like if you're interested in getting that new improvement communication, let me know. That 33 touch, I can send you the link for that, and then getting the book. If you need any help with your business, please let me know by connecting with me below on a DM. You can reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and you can just let me know how I can help you. So again, I want to thank you and time listening and watching this episode of Vlog of D. Arnel. We appreciate you, and we look forward to see the next episode we'll share. Again, thank you for what you're doing. I hope this is very helpful, and thank you then. All right, bye.